morning, adventurers, and welcome back. Today we're going to do something really epic. I woke up and I was feeling a little bit nostalgic, feeling like I needed to do a little bit of history today. And since we're in Oregon, what better way than with covered bridges and history? So today we're going to be checking out the Albany area, and the Albany area is home to 6 different covered bridges. 6 of them! We're not going to go check all of them out, but I did want to stop off here and let you know what the hype is all about. So what's the deal with the covered bridge? I honestly do not know the complete and total history as to why they started making these structures, but they're just really beautiful to look at, especially whenever you get up close and personal and come inside and check it out. So as you can see with the bridge, it's pretty nice. The way that it's set up, it's got this nice exterior. The bridge is labeled. It tells us this one was built in 1936, guys. That is a huge piece of history right there. Now picture, if you will, some of your favorite, most iconic movie moments. They have had covered bridges. I can think of at least a dozen where I've thought,
oh, that's such a cool place. I want to go there.
And now I'm standing here next to a covered bridge and thinking,
wow, I don't know that much about covered bridges.
Again, this ceiling though. This ceiling is everything. Okay guys, so that was a fun way to start our morning. I think now we're gonna go to another historic portion of the Albany area, but you won't see that until we get there. So let's get back into town, and it's almost 10 a.m. so I think they're about to open. We have arrived in Albany, where we are about to check out something with such a rich, amazing history. And well, it's something that's right up our alley. We are at the Carousel Museum. I had a great suggestion from one of my family members to come here, and well, after I looked it up, I could quickly understand why. It looked amazing, and well, there's a bunny on the door if that tells you anything. Okay guys, so here we are, and this isn't a carousel just like any other carousel. No, this is a special carousel. Look guys, there's even a kiosk that tells us a little bit more about it with some of the photos of how it has been instrumental into the community. Isn't that cool? So we're gonna walk through the gift shop area, and in doing so, there's actually a paint studio back here, and I'm really excited because all of the pieces on the carousel are hand carved and painted by hand as well. So these are spectacular, one-of-a-kind pieces that, oh my gosh, painstaking hours have gone into. Let's go and check out what's in here a little bit more closely and then head into the paint studio. So everything in here has a little sign like this telling when it was created and who did it, and look at the detail. It is spectacular.
Round 2.
Is one of my favorite times of the year, but I want you at home to think about this. Where do you normally put your tree? Like, really think about it. Like, do you stand in the corner? Do you put it on a table? Where does it go? What's your significant tradition? Have you ever thought about mounting your Christmas tree to a carousel? That's what this is. The detail is phenomenal, but the tree would actually go on top of it up here. Guys, is my favorite so far for obvious reasons. I like this one because of the subject matter, clearly, but also I like that it shows who actually is affiliated with this particular donation to the museum. Now, the rabbit is from 1915, so again, another amazingly older piece that's gorgeous. And we're not done yet. We have these two guys to look at a little bit more closely. The goat from 1905. Look at this, even down to his little scruff right there. And his tongue's hanging out. And the deer from 1908. Look at this. You have a dog right here. That's pretty interesting. Look at the detail even down to the hoof. So I thought, what better way to express that a little bit more than to check out the paint studio, where they're actually working on some pieces right now. So each one of the animals that they're currently working on in here have signs like this. They tell who they're sponsored by, and they show a picture of what they're going to look like. This is Summit. It tells you who the painter and the carvers were. It also tells who sponsored it, and this is what it will look like and when it will be ready. So this, as you can see, is a nice little camping scene. Now let's look at Summit in person. So this is Summit in person currently within the process. As you can see, all the shading hasn't been added yet, and they're still working on the saddle scene. The Sally, it tells you who the painters and carvers are, who it was sponsored by, and again, when it'll be ready. And this is what it will look like. Now, right now, the person who's actually working on it said she was sanding it and getting it ready. And there's actually a story behind many of these. This one is a beloved family cow that they had that had a lot of fond memories. So they wanted to match the carving with the sponsor, which is really cool. Now this one right here is Gino, and Gino is sponsored by the Oregon baseball coach, so there is a baseball on it. Isn't that kind of cool, guys? And Marcy here should be completed pretty soon, fall 2019. This is pretty fascinating because they try to make everything kind of correct and how it should look and fit. And then also they have these wonderful vibrant colors that they select for some and more muted, subdued colors for others. It's amazing to see the process that goes into this. Now there's so much more for us to learn beyond the painter's studio. So to do that, we have to go downstairs. When you go downstairs, they do offer tours, and so I was able to hop onto a tour and see some of these historic pieces before learning a little bit more about the carving studio itself. As you can see here, it was a really packed tour.
They'd crank this thing up and play it, and these little guys were really loud. And these are kind of like the player pianos that have the fingers that go through the music, only these are ones that operate by air. Picture here. This shows the chunks of wood that we need in order to put Raja together. So we send the picture up to Salem Wood Products and they cut these chunks for us. They send it back. The body part, like the big chunk here, is cut in half. The body's hollowed out. It's the only part that is hollowed out. The head, legs, nothing else is hollowed out. Otherwise, the critters would be just too heavy overall. Hey, Dr. Barry, who's an optometrist, so of course the bear has glasses. So that's why you have the medical symbol and you have the eye chart. His wife was a teacher, so you have a ruler and an apple. Many of the family members are from Utah, so that's what the U is for. Their name is Barry, so of course you have berries in the picture. There's a granddaughter that does ballet, so that's what the slippers are for. And these are the antlers that are going to be used on this deer. He got them on eBay.
so cool, guys. I've converged upon 2 separate tours, so there's information on both sides, and it's so awesome. Awesome though, because you can see that they bring in little points of reference while they're sculpting. So, point of reference, and there's the big one. They said that in many cases, if you see like an animal or a little special insignia or a token, it relates to who actually has inspired the piece or sponsored the piece. So this one over here, for example, has 2 different dogs. They're the family pets. The colors that they choose match the person who's sponsoring it, and they have these little hidden things that you would never know unless you hear the story. So in a minute, when we go check out the big carousel, each one of the items has a name. So they call them the critters, and each critter has a name, a little plate above it, and we're gonna go see how many cool things that we can find in them, because I think it's just fascinating. See guys, there's the family's dogs right there. Now they said that whenever they are completely finished, there will be no screws in the critters themselves. It'll all be held together with glue, which is part of the reason it takes a longer time to secure all the items, because they create each item individually. So like back here, you see all the legs. Those legs will eventually be attached to the body, and they'll be stationary there, so they won't have any screws or anything like that holding it in place. Look, this is part of the process. They actually mark what they're going to be carving so they can start working on the texture. Okay guys, we have a behind the scenes look on how some of the carousel above us actually works. I'm going to show you this and see if you recognize the flooring. Okay, so right here, this is the actual carousel above us, and they're able to do some of the maintenance by accessing it underneath. When you're up there, you never have a clue that anybody's down here doing anything relating to the carousel, but yep. Guys, I mean, like, how often do you get the behind the scenes look at something that amazing? Now we're in the elevator where they have the walls nice and padded because they bring the critters in and out of the elevator. So there's one last thing that we have to do here, and that is ride, ride, ride. So I think we're gonna check out all of the different critters that they already have on the rotating carousel. Keep in mind, it's not completely full. They're still working on tons of other things. But we're gonna check out some names, see if we can't find some of those little hidden pieces, and have a little fun. So on our tour, we learned that the outer ring right here does not move, and that is to keep everything balanced. Everything works through a single mechanism which runs through one strand and connects with some wires. So the central characters move up and down. The external ones do not. To get a token to get on the carousel, and tokens are $2. They have a little token machine right here. So now let's go ride the carousel. Naturally, guys, I found the bunny. So we're gonna be riding the bunny on this one. Obviously, we are on one of the inner rows, so we're gonna go up and down, and I'm so excited. Now guys, the bunny's name is Frederick, and it looks like he is sponsored by Gordon and Wendy Kirby, so thank you guys for sponsoring a bunny. We'll check him in a minute to see what his magic secret hidden things are. a bunny, and I'm so happy.
Yeah!
It's impossible not to just like smile when you're enjoying this and seeing all of these little pieces. What a refreshing way to spend a day while here in the Albany area. That was amazing, guys. And there's a lot of stories that are like hidden under like the just regular beautifulness of the carousel itself. For example, one of the items is actually friendly to those who can't see. It has Braille on it. And so whenever you find it, it tells you that there's something here for everyone. I think that's an amazing way to really just tell the story of this carousel. There truly is something there for everyone. So, fun fact, a few of the critters on the carousel there are actually time capsules. You can put all sorts of different things in them because they have a hollow body. So the sponsors put various items. The bunny specifically, you know, the one that I wanted to ride, actually has an actual note from one of the most pivotal people in the process that she has put in there and literally forgotten what she's written. So at some point in time, they will open it up and have a great time capsule in the bunny. I'm excited. Now, how do you participate if you want to be a sponsor? It's really simple. You can go onto their website or you can contact them. They have 3 levels of sponsorship: the outer ring, the inner ring, and the middle ring. And each one of them is a different level based on, you know, how big that the critter's going to be. So between $5,000 and I think it's $10,000. But you can commemorate your special loved one in a really unique way. You can pay tribute to something that you're really passionate about. You know, anything. No big deal. Well, adventurers, we have one last place while we are here in Albany, and as you can see, I had to go through just a little bit of construction to get here. But this came highly recommended from the people over at the carousel, as well as one of the top recommendations if you happen to look up Albany, Oregon. Just period. So we're here today at the Talking Water Garden. I am really excited because this looks pretty interesting, but we're gonna have to look a little bit more into this first. So as you can see, we have a little map and it shows that we are right here. In front of us is considered to be the Beaver Marsh, and well, this is what the Beaver Marsh looks like. This is not only a super popular park in the area, but it also has a little education about nature. Now, it was originally created so that they could take treated water and re-release it so that it could be used without damaging the world around it. And it's a really interesting concept that they have here. So around the park, there are these little educational stops that you can learn a little bit more about what you're looking at, just like this sign over here that welcomed us. So let's go find out a little bit more. I see an information kiosk, guys. Let's go look to see what we can expect out of this little trip around. I really like that it has this little area right here, the points of interest, and it has bullet points as to what they are, and then we can go find them over here on the map and see what we're really interested in. So let's check this out. I have a map and guide that you can pick up and take with you so that you can have a quick reference. As you can see here, the trail is nice and wide, allowing you to come out here and hike or visit. And then you have these awesome views of all of the creation around. Now it says here on one of the little educational stops that they can handle up to 12.6 million gallons of water a day. That is a lot. So after things are treated, they can then be reintroduced into the wild and eventually into the river, and it all be safe. There's a really cool illustration about this right here, where you can see that a little bit more closely as to how exactly this works. And just to look a little bit closer, as you can see, it shows that the treatment facilities actually treat the water, but then it still can't be released out into this area because it's still way too hot. So instead, it filters through talking water and allows itself to cool off through a series of pools and waterfalls. After that, it's able then to go out into the actual river. Now, each one of these pools also fosters growth of all of these really interesting, unique plants that help to have basically all sorts of new life generated as a result of this cooling water coming through. It's a creative way to address a very common problem that a lot of places face, and I feel like this is a great model for moving forward with other communities. Look at all this amazing wetland habitat that's been created. Can you imagine how many little critters are now able to have a home in this area that might not usually? This area was formerly an industrial area that otherwise wasn't being able to foster much of anything. And so not only have they found an effective way to reintroduce water into the rivers nearby, but they've also found a way to bring life back to an otherwise wasted piece of land that had been cleared for industrial space. So it's pretty epic, and I think I found some of the residents. Tucked back in here, there's a little group of ducks. For you that are sitting at home or in the office or wherever you're watching this video and you're thinking wastewater, well, it must smell terrible there. Nope. Not at all, actually. I'm really surprised whenever I came out here and I'd heard what it was. I kind of expected that too, but I got here and it just smells like nature. Like clean, fresh nature. This, guys, is one of the little facilities that runs over to circulate the water. As you can see, it slowly trickles in and then it filters through this final filter right here. It's kind of funny, as you walk past the shoreline, you can hear all of these little frogs. It's so inspiring, and it's the perfect day to be out here right now.